Have you ever opened up a terminal and just stared at that blinking cursor on a black screen and felt a little bit of dread? Yeah, you are not alone. But what if I told you that in just a few minutes, we could turn that fear into one of your absolute biggest strengths? Well, that's exactly what we're about to do. Let's get into it. But I know what you're probably thinking. Why on earth should we bother with an interface that's like 50 years old when we have all these amazing graphical tools with buttons and menus? And you know what? It's a totally fair question. The answer is simple, though. That's where the real work gets done. The command line is the raw, unfiltered key to your data's full potential, and today I'm handing you that key.
So here's our game plan. We're going to start with the why this all matters. Then we'll jump straight into the good stuff, the how, building out a typical workflow from scratch. We'll cover finding your way around, managing your files, and then actually digging into the data. We'll wrap things up with a few essential tools to make sure you're working smart and safe. By the end of this, the terminal is going to feel like home.
Okay, first things first. Why should you, as someone who works with data, really care about the command line? Well, it all boils down to one simple fact about the real world. This quote right here just nails it. See, most of the important data in the world doesn't live on your nice, friendly laptop. It lives on production servers. These are the powerful machines where the real action happens. And guess what almost all of them run on? Linux. And the way you talk to them? It's not with a mouse. It's with commands. It is the native language of data infrastructure.
All right, so you get the why. Let's get our hands dirty with the how. Picture this. You just logged into a remote server. You've got a blank screen staring back at you. What's the very first thing you do? Well, you've got to get your bearings.
The first command you should probably always type is pwd. Think of it as your digital compass. It stands for Print Working Directory, and it tells you exactly where you are in the system's maze of folders. It's the big red "You Are Here" arrow on the map. Super simple, super important.
So, you know where you are. Now what's around you? For that, you use ls. It literally just lists all the files and folders in your current spot. It's like turning on the lights in a room to see what's inside.
But ls on its own is a little basic. It doesn't show you everything. That's where you can give it superpowers with what we call flags. For instance, ls-l gives you a long list with all the juicy details, permissions, file size, you name it. ls-a shows you all the files, even the hidden ones. And the real pro move? You just combine them. ls-la. Now you're seeing everything.
Okay, so we're no longer lost. We know how to look around. Now it's time to actually do something. In this part, we're going to see how you can manage your files and folders to build out a proper workspace.
This is where you really start to feel the power. Check this out. With just 3 commands, you can set up a whole project. First, mkdir makes a directory for your project. Then, use cd to change directory and pop right inside it. And finally, cp copies your data file right where you need it. And boom, just like that, your workspace is ready to go.
Now, very similar to copy is mv, which stands for move. This is what you use when you want to relocate a file completely, not just make a duplicate. Think of it as the difference between copy-paste and cut-paste.
And here's a little secret that's going to save you so much time. MV isn't just for moving files around. It's also how you rename them. If you move a file but keep it in the same folder and just give it a new name, poof, you've just renamed it. It's an awesome 2-for-1 tool you'll use constantly. All right, our workspace is ready. The data is in place. Now it's time for the main event, actually working with our data files. This is where the magic happens.
So, how do you just take a quick peek inside a file? The easiest way is with the cat command. It just spits out the entire contents of a file right onto your screen. It is perfect for quickly looking at smaller files to remind yourself what's in them.
But what if your file is gigantic with millions of lines? You absolutely do not want to use cat for that, trust me. Instead, you use head to see the first few lines or tail to see the last few. This is so useful for getting a quick sample of a huge data set or checking the most recent entries in a log file.
Okay, pay attention to this next one because it is a total game changer. This little vertical bar is called the pipe, and it is one of the most powerful ideas in all of computing. It lets you take the result of one command and channel it, or pipe it, to become the input for a second command. This is how you build incredibly complex operations out of tiny, simple tools.
And one of the best partners for the pipe is grep.
Think of grep as your own personal search engine, but for your files. You can pipe the contents of a file into grep to find any word, any phrase, any pattern you're looking for, and it is lightning fast. Quick tip, use the -I flag and it'll ignore whether the letters are uppercase or lowercase.
So if grep is for finding things, sed is for finding and changing things. It's basically the find and replace tool you already know, but on steroids. It's built to make automated edits across huge files, right from the command line. Let me just show you.
Okay, so let's imagine we have a file, and inside it is just one simple sentence. Unix is great.
Now say we want to swap out the word Unix for Linux. We just run this simple sed command. All this is saying is, substitute the text Unix with Linux and do it globally for every time you find it.
And there it is. The output is updated. See how easy that was? Now imagine doing that across 1,000 files at the same time. That's the kind of power we're talking about.
We are in the home stretch. For our last section, we're going to cover a few must-know commands that help you manage your system and, more importantly, work safely without breaking anything.
Here are a few more tools for the toolkit. Do ash is awesome for checking how much disk space your files are eating up in a human-readable format. Who am I is a lifesaver. It just tells you which user you're logged in as, which is crucial on a shared server. History is your best friend for finding that complicated command you ran yesterday. And finally, RM, which is for remove.
And I need you to listen to this very, very carefully. The RM command is permanent. There is no recycling bin. There is no undo. When you use RM, that file is gone forever. So always double-check what you're doing before you hit enter.
And that's a wrap. Just look at everything we just covered. We walked through the entire workflow of a data pro on the command line. You know how to find your way around, build out a project, actually process your data, and run those critical safety checks. These are the fundamental skills for working on almost any data system on the planet.
So, you've learned the what. You have the keys to the command line kingdom. These commands are the building blocks you can use to solve an infinite number of problems. The only question left is, what cool problem are you going to solve first? Thanks for tuning in.